bro. When I heard that little boy Trey say, man, I miss my dad, mom. When I heard that fuck, bro. And keep in mind, I said, if I see Jook, if I see Gotti, if I see Migo, or if I see Youngster, I'ma get on that ass. This shit ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, bro. I said if I see them folk, because these folk had something to do with it, bro. These folk don't know that Jook put a hit out, bro. They don't know this, you know what I'm saying? But nah, follow that, bro. I need to say that. Don't say that. Nigga ain't gonna tell the truth, bro. Nigga ain't say, man, hey, bro, how you gonna feel if I knows you? Hey, man, look, bro, my Jook put a $40,000 hit on you, bro. Like, nigga, man, come on, bro.
Welcome to Checkmate. This is called the PRE, Standing on Paper Route Business Edition. That's what we're going to call this. All right, so we start here. I don't know if everyone knows the story, but the latest news is that Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook, was murdered about 72 hours ago, 2 or 3 days ago, at a repass for their uncle, a big drug dealer in Memphis, from the Bovan family. And the Bovan family is a huge family from Memphis who they were into basically the chitlin circuit of hip hop and so forth. They was throwing shows and so forth. They're real big on the local scene there. But so Yo Gotti, of course, it's a huge public beef with him and Dolph, rest his soul. Turns out, Dolph was hot in Memphis. Everybody was rocking with Dolph in Memphis. Dolph was even selling that little weed. You know what I mean? Pushing packs of weed to everybody. Put his cousin Key Glock on. Was getting the street in motion. All right. But Yo Gotti wanted him down with CMG. He wanted him down with CMG. But Dolph wanted to stay independent. They was kind of rocking together until Bro reached out and Dolph just didn't oblige. Which I get, I understand. You don't want to get underneath someone's thumb, and especially if they're in the same business as you are in. If they're rapping and you rapping, who's the rapper? You know what I mean? So Dolph was cool with Gotti, also cool with his brother Jook. Dolph used to give Jook weed when back in the days in the streets. Dolph used to give front Jook some weed. And Jook is a street nigga. Jook was brought up in the streets, raised by his mother. His mother had like 4 or 5 kids, 6 kids, whatever. Their mom had 4 or 5 kids, whatever. But Jook is a street nigga, and Gotti is more of a studio dude. Actually, Gotti's music career saved their family's life, saved his brother's life, brought his brother out the street, put Jook in a good job, had Jook out there working. Jook is a big boss, made him a music executive. Now, Jook is plugged to the streets, so Jook brought Gotti these street acts: Glorilla, Moneybag Yo, some of these other street acts that you may not know of, but Jook was bringing them there. All right, Jook was bringing them there. So, as you heard from the video at the beginning, the Grove Hero said that there was a $40,000 hit put out on Dolph. Right? Now, what happened was when Dolph didn't want to sign with Big Head, they called him Big Head, that's Yo Gotti. We're going to call him Big Head. When Dolph didn't want to sign with Big Head, Dolph started calling Bro out. You know what I mean? Like, yo, man, this nigga hating on me. You know what I'm saying? This dude hating on me. And when he started calling this guy out, he also was calling out his brother, you know? And then he also was saying that he was fucking on his baby mom. Now, if you know like I know, there's a few things that you cannot disrespect the man on. And these few things are simple, man. It's simple. You don't play about no man money. You don't play about no man woman. And you don't play about no man's family. So Dolph did all three of them things with Gotti. And like I said, just a street nigga. So just put the word out. Yo, I want him touched. I want him touched. And it seems like one of his label members, Black Youngster, was trying to get that bag to start off with. Because do y'all remember when Dolph got shot at in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the CIAA tournament? They rolled up on him. He was in a sprinter van, and they rolled up on him and shot 100 times, bro. They shot the motherfucking sprinter van up. Excuse my French. We're gonna try to use discretion for the YouTube algorithm. They're real tight now. But they shot the van up, the sprinter up over 100 times. Over 100 times. And this is in North Carolina. This is in my state. I'm like, what? Out there in Charlotte. Over 100 times. Made the news, national news, so forth and so on. He survived because he had a bulletproof sprinter. So yeah, he survived. Fast forward a month or two later, they catch him out in California and they jump on the man. They try to jump the man. Man fights back. Boom, end up getting shot. One of them shoots him. Shoot him in I forgot where he got shot at, but he did get shot. That's the second attempt on this man's life. So he survived that. And then what he did was he turned the volume all the way up. When I mean all the way up, like he became one of the hottest rappers in the game and took Yo Gotti name and crew right with him and bashed him up. I mean, he was boxing him up, killing him. Well, then Dolph decides to go to Memphis. And every time he went to Memphis, you know what I'm saying? Like, he always stopped and show love to the local moms and pop stores. You know? And one of his favorite stores was the cookie shop there, Makita's Cookie Shop. Every time Dolph came into Memphis, he would stop there and grab him some cookies, some warm chocolate chip cookies and some milk and head on in. But this time when he came through, they had to drop on him. And bro, as soon as he got in the cookie shop, bro, I mean, I couldn't even understand. I didn't even know it was that serious, bro. I mean, they unloaded, bro. They opened up the switch on him, a couple of switches, and a machine gun or something like that. Shot the man probably 20 some odd times, bro. Ridiculous. Ridiculous what they did to Dolph. I mean, you know, I'm a Dolph fan, so it hit me hard. I'm just like, damn, wow. And we had just lost tons of rappers. It was like we were losing rappers every other month. Hell, every month. So, you know, they did that to Dolph. And allegedly that was done to Dolph by these guys, but that's just allegedly. And it just broke the city. It broke the city's heart. They left his baby moms, we're gonna call her his wife, with two beautiful kids, with no father. And then they just kept blowing up. And to add insult to injury, Big Jook was trolling. You know, most of these guys were trolling, like dissing the man, calling the man bitch and fake and this, that, and the third thing after he was dead, dissing the man's mural. Black Youngster did a video on the man's grave, standing on the man's grave. like they were doing the most. But like I said, this episode is a PRE episode, standing on paper route business. The reason I named it that episode is because, do you know? Wait, before we get any further. So let me get back into the story. So Jook ends up reaching out to his homeboy, Govan Hernandez, one of his road dogs, you know what I mean? Connected to the street. And Govan basically linked up with some of his young bucks. Now, one of his young bucks was a young man who used to roll with Key Glock and Dolph and them dudes. Dolph and them dudes be in the videos, in the back of the videos, just, hanging out, waiting for his chance to be a star. And that young man is Straight Drop. Uh, Straight Drop was cool with Key Glock and Dolph, Basically one of the little runners, one of the little young boys. Well, Govan offered the young man a piece of the money that was allegedly offered by Jook. And he took him up on the offer. Man, you guys got to be real careful. Hey, looks there like he doesn't have much of a mustache. Interesting. Very little mustache there. You got to watch these guys who don't have mustaches, but we'll get on that on another episode. Yep. So, the thing is, Straight Drop was always in the back of the videos, waiting on his chance, and whole time plotting on a way to get his position, plotting on a way to get larger than the largest, larger than Dolph, larger than Key Glock. You could tell he was hating the whole time, because how can you just go from we in the same little clique to now I want to kill you? Well, it turns out that Straight Drop is with a crew called True Love Mafia, if I'm not mistaken. And the True Love Mafia had a little spat with this other crew, this other dude. I forget the dude's name, and I'm not plugged in like that, but I do know enough of this story. Well, Dolph signed that guy. Yep. Dolph signed the op. Dolph is about business, so he's thinking, hey man, this young man has motion. I know you guys got beef or whatever, but this young man has motion. Maybe we can go ahead and get this motion going and fix this beef, because at the end of the day, it's all about this money we need to get. But the young man was thinking, nah, you disrespected me by signing my op. And I guess that's where everything kind of went the other way. So Govan Hernandez, who was offered, some say 100,000, some say 40,000. I would like to lean towards 100,000, because Govan seems to be in his 40s, late 40s. $40,000 ain't doing him no good. You got to make that thing up 6 figures, at least. That way I can slide the little young boys 40. I slide one of them 20 and the other one 20. That's the most money they ever had in their life at one time. I guarantee it. And I'll keep 60. So now, turns out that 40 was given out. The job was done. Who knows what was given out? I don't know what was given out. But the job had gotten done. They did Dolph in. True Love Mafia turned on him, did him in for the money. This guy. So it was a big manhunt for Straight Drop. Memphis was on fire. Everybody's going crazy. Yo, Dolph's got hit. Dolph's done. The industry went crazy. Everybody went crazy. They ended up catching up with Straight Drop, locking him up. They locked a few people up, thinking they were suspects, but they weren't. Which leads me to this point here. standing on PRE business, paper route business, those guys started retaliating from that day, which was about 3 years ago, to today. They started retaliating from 2021 to today, nonstop. They drove the murder rate in Memphis up. Yeah. So they locked Straight Drop up, and they locked up a couple of other dudes who were the gunmen. Some young guys, man. And then shortly after that, they go after Govan. You know, one of those young dudes snitched. You know this. We both know this. You trying to give me 45 years? Oh no, we sharing this. Oh yeah, we sharing this. And then you gave me $20,000, which I don't have. I'm locked. No, we sharing this. So that's what happened. And they went and got Govan. Now, if you look through some of Rest His Soul, Big Jook's Instagram pictures and all, you'll see Govan in a few of his pictures. Hell, that's his homeboy. That's his homie. So they basically plotted on Dolph. Not Gotti. Gotti was out there getting the money. Gotti was out making songs. Well, hell, how can I put Dolph in this rap song? Let me see. What rhymes with Dolph? While his brother was putting in work, plotting, and positioning to get this man killed. In real fucking life. A rap beef to get him killed. In real life. Because he was exposing them on the wax. Exposing them. You put him on, bring him out of the street. Man comes right out of prison. You put him right into an executive role. He gets a shit ton of money. He hear somebody talking shit. His little pussy gets hurt. So he decides he needs to go ahead and just, hey man, let me go ahead and get this dude knocked off. You mean knocked off? Your pussy hurt that bad? Oh wow. And take this man from Memphis. This man who's putting stuff back in Memphis. It's evident. Memphis was hurt. Dolph was doing things like buying land in Memphis, man. Showing his guys how to get land. This is what I do with my label. This is how I'm trying to influence my people. This man was doing it. So, let's say allegedly they get him rubbed off. And Memphis is hot. Straight Drop gets locked up. A couple of other little young boys get locked up. I don't remember their fucking names. And then, like I said, from day one, falling off. If you said something out the way about Dolph, if they thought that you was involved in it, if you was cool with the person involved in it, if you had beef before, dude, you've been erased. Do your research. Go check. There's been probably close to 50 fucking bodies behind this. And Paper Route allegedly is up 50 to zip. Up 50 to 1. Because they got the main one. But seems like retaliation has already been issued because the main one just got assassinated, murdered 72 hours ago. The main one on what is it? CMB. Supposed to be the CME, Coke Money Entertainment, something like that. But now it's supposed to be Consolidated Money Entertainment. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's Gotti and the boy. Big Jook came in town for Eric Govan's funeral, the big drug dealer from Memphis. And you know, that's like their uncle because he was married to their aunt. So that's basically their uncle. Run those photos of Big Jook again. Big Jook and Gotti. So that's basically their uncle. Street uncle too on top of that. So if you my street uncle and I'm from the streets, my mom's rock with you, everything. And like I said, Jook grew up right underneath his mom's, you know what I mean? And his mom's was like selling dope. She was in dope houses, so forth and so on. You know, there was the cops were kicking doors in, the whole shit. So he grew up in that life. So of course he's gonna admire and look up to his uncle Eric Bovine, who had clubs. Hell, they had the big dance. They had the little gangster walk thing, which is huge in Memphis to this day. They invented it. That family, the Bovine family, invented it. That big. So they're that big. So when he passed away, it's a big thing in Memphis. So of course they're gonna put out flyers, commercials, everything. And everybody in Memphis knows who his nephews are. And everybody in Memphis knew Big Jook and Gotti was his nephew. And they also knew Big Jook and Gotti was gonna come and pay their respects to their uncle, especially they gangster hustling ass uncle. So when Gotti shows up with his brother and Angela Simmons, Run DMC, yeah, Angela Simmons, Run's daughter, shows up with them, so you know they had all types of protection. I heard they had half the fucking police force, several security outfits. So you know Gotti's gonna make sure that he's protected. That bag's gonna be protected. Damn sure better take care of Angela. Anything happens to her, you know what's up. Okay? Because that's a Simmons. Okay? All right. So there's footage of him, Angela, Jook, and the family at the funeral paying their respects, which is super sad. You know, we just gonna say rest in peace to all that are involved that passed away. So they're at the funeral, and Jook decides he's just gonna stay after the funeral and go to the repast. Gotti and Angela Simmons went on and caught the flight out because it was inclement weather on the way, and that inclement weather is still here right now. So that's how recent it was. It was inclement weather on the way, so they got out of there and headed to Atlanta. Caught the first flight out of there and got out of there. Needless to say, Jook stayed back. I don't know why the security didn't stay back. It was just him and his one personal security. His personal security, a guy named Peavy, and Peavy is like Gotti's size. Gotti can't be but 5'1" maybe, and Peavy was about the same size. Jook himself is bigger than his security was. So yeah, his security might have been a shooter, might have been gangster, whatever. But it's just one. He could be the most gangster guy in the world, but it's just one. You got one security. You stay back with one security in Memphis, Tennessee. When it's up, you stay back with one security when it's up and it's stuck up there. Are you fucking crazy? Excuse me, pardon me, YouTube. Are you insane? Guess so. Because reports have it that right after the repass, everyone's coming out to their cars. Jook, his homie Peavy, everybody. Hell, I think Moneybag Yo, I think Global, I think all of them were out there. I believe. But I know for a fact that Jook, his mom, and the security guys was out there. And before they can get to the car, a white Ford Explorer that looks like a police vehicle with no plates on it pulls up and unloads, killing Big Jook and critically injuring the security guy. There's been reports that Moms was there and Moms had gotten in the car and jumped out of the car and ran off. I really don't believe that much because unless those shooters were like James Bond shooters, like perfect gentlemen, like, oh, there's a lady, hold your fire, let her go. Okay, now let's get back to dumping on these niggers. Unless they were like that, which I doubt. I believe she wasn't near the car. I happen to believe she probably was still in the building, getting ready to come out. Because once they're dumping, these are killers, man. These are killers. And if they would have hit the mom, that would have been just as big of a target. So no, I don't think she was there. But Standing on Paper Route Business is the name of this episode. And the reason I named it that is because those guys have been sliding for Dolph. You know how all these crews are like, all these people like, yo man, if you ever, if you do get me, trust me, my boys are gonna ride on you. My boys are gonna ride on you. You ain't gonna never get no sleep. You're gone. My guy's gonna get you. And then, Lord forbid, and then you see something happen to the person and you look and you listen some more and you wait. You're like, damn, this dude crew ain't did nothing to nobody. Nothing. King Von. When Quando, Rondo, Little Tim, and those dudes got into the situation with King Von, and King Von ended up losing his life. Did they ride on the young man? I mean, yeah, Quando Rondo did get assaulted. They did shoot at him out in California, but I think that was on some rolling 60 stuff. That was something different. But did Von's people go get any get back? This is the get back gang themselves from Chicago. But did they? Did they go get some get back? Not saying that I promote any of that, but I'm just asking a question. No, they did not. How about Pop Smoke's people? Did they? No, they did not. XXX Tentacion, did his friends go and do anything to those? No. Tupac, no. Biggie, no. But did they ride for Dolph? Oh, hell yeah. They've been riding for Dolph for 3 years straight. And they ain't stopped yet. Think about it, man. It's been a fucking murder. Excuse me. It's been a freaking murder reporting from Memphis every 2 days for the last 3 years. I would hate to have a local Memphis news. Because you know how you got your national news that show a little shit, then it'll show some stuff that really, some bad stuff that happened that was big enough to make the news. Then you got your local news that show everything. Yo, the mailman ran over here, tripped over the dog jumped over the cat, bit the mailman. They'll put that on the news. Do you know how many murders are reported on the local news in Memphis? I would really, really hate to see it. I mean, just today, they fired the chief of police in Memphis because right now Memphis is like a third world country. And they're continuously having these murders and they're The murder rate is going up, and the murder solving rate is going down with no solution. So they got rid of him. That's political, you know. Um, that's political. But see, here's the thing. Speaking of political, they're giving out RICOs. And when things like this take place, and you got police chiefs' heads rolling all over the place, you've got bodies popping up weekly. The feds are on the way if they're not already there. And not only are they building a case, it seems like they're probably building a fortress just to throw everybody in it. And that's a lot. Now, if Gotti gets in trouble behind conspiracy, he's already lost his brother. His whole label, CME, has been ran out of Memphis. You cannot be a CME artist, a CME executive, a CME street team member, a CME tour booker, CME any damn thing in Memphis, or your life is in danger. Just off of one bad decision, it has unlocked Pandora's box. They love Dolph. And this is a pure sign of how much they did. This is a pure sign of how much he meant to them. Because they ain't letting it rest, bro. They ain't letting it rest. Yo, Gotti, they don't care if you with Angela. You better make sure you get her pretty butt out of there. They don't care. They don't care. They standing on paper route business. And being from Memphis, maybe you guys should have known that. Maybe you guys should have checked on those dudes on Castalia. But it looks to me like that's them dirt boys, and them boys ready to put all the dirt in. Our thoughts and our prayers and our condolences here at Checkmate goes out to all of the people who lost their life behind this confrontation, behind these bad decisions. But at the end of the day, we also got to keep in mind, you may not be a very intelligent person, but I would say the majority of us know right from wrong. And the majority of us know that it is wrong to take someone else's life. So when you have the gourd to do something, the audacity to do something on those lines, you kind of got to expect Pandora's box to open. Stay tuned because, PRE do not seem to be thinking about stopping anytime soon. So there will be a PRE, standing on PRE business part 2 coming very soon. This has been Checkmate. It's your boy, Mr. Hot Sauce. This show has been produced by SA and is presented on the Starman Films Global Network. Till next time, peace.